Good afternoon. We have several people that are still waiting to join the meeting, so I'm going to wait just a couple minutes to get started until I think we have the bulk of the folks that want to join, and then we'll get going. I'll give them about another minute. Okay, I think we'll begin if that's okay with you. I will continue to add folks as they join us. My name is Shannon Heck. I'm the Director of Development and Marketing at Imprints Cares and am a proud Demon Deacon from back in the day. I won't say exactly when. I can say that none of the professors that I have are probably on this call. At any rate, we wanted to take some time to share some information about E-Learning Enrichment Center opportunities that we may be offering we have been looking at evaluating and assessing the site at the Winston-Salem first and are looking to see if that site might be available for use by the Wake Forest faculty and staff at the Renolda campus. We have received a number of questions previously that were submitted, and if you have a question that you would like to submit while we go through the PowerPoint, that would be wonderful, and we will try to answer as many questions as we can at the conclusion of the PowerPoint. And if we don't get to everyone's questions, then we'll type up a Q&A that we can forward to you tomorrow. I will shortly be joined by Ashley Long, who is the Assistant Director of our Expanded Learning Program. Tomorrow is the last day of our summer camp programs, and she was at a camp in Kernersville, and there's a bad accident on Highway 40, so she will be joining me shortly. What I would like to do is start by, I'm going to share my screen and start with a brief PowerPoint about Imprints Cares and about the type of programming that we would be able to offer to you and your children during the remote learning. So Imprints Cares is an educational nonprofit. We have been working in the Forsyth County community for the last 50 years. My screen sharing is not working. Hold on just one second. I'm going to stop the share and restart. For some reason, it's stuck. I hate when that happens. Okay, hopefully we can. So Imprints Cares is the only educational nonprofit in Forsyth County that serves children from birth and actually prenatal through middle school. You can see we have a number of programs that are focused on preparing children for school in our birth to 5 category. And then once children reach school, we know that support does not necessarily need to end. So we have long provided summer enrichment day camps. We have a program for children with special needs at our downtown location. We've offered before and after school care last year at 23 sites, serving actually by the time that the schools closed for the pandemic, about 2,000 students per week. So when the pandemic struck on March 17th, when Governor Cooper closed the schools, Imprints Cares pivoted to begin providing crisis care for essential workers. We opened crisis care sites at 6 sites located within the school district. We've had a long partnership with the Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools, so we were in several different locations. We served over 120 families during the crisis care with no health incidents or complaints. It was at that point that we began to develop our very extensive safety protocols in conjunction with the Forsyth County Health Department and the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services, and also the School Health Alliance. Throughout the summer, we have run 3 camps located in Forsyth County Schools, 2 camps in Davie County Schools, and our special needs camp here in at our downtown location. Once again, there we go. So when we began talking to Wake Forest about the remote learning supports that might be needed during the first quarter when the school district is going to operate remotely, there's several reasons that Imprints Cares has built a reputation in the community. We have been serving Winston-Salem for over 50 years. We're the largest provider before and after school care in the county. As I said before, we serve nearly 2,000 students a day in the 2019-2020 school year. We also served 11 Title I schools during the year. We hire high quality staff. 60% of our staff, as you can see, are district employees and retired teachers. We supplement that with area college students who have an interest in education. We have integrated lots of different supports into the curriculum that we provide. And again, we learned a lot during crisis care. For the 12 weeks that we provided that, we did the virtual learning support. And what virtual learning support during this school year is going to look much different than it looked back in March, April, May, and June. The school district has gotten a lot of additional plans in place for more synchronous instruction of the children. So it will, the role of the E-Learning Enrichment Centers and specialists is going to evolve slightly as the school district evolves in the type of programming that they're going to offer their children. We've, like I said, had a long partnership with the Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools. For 12 years, we've been providing on-site both before and after school and summer camps. However, we're not able to provide the care on site right now because the teachers have returned to the building. And so they are really going to keep those sites pretty well locked down for the first quarter, which is actually 10 weeks, while they deliver that instruction. Sorry, again, my screen is freezing, which doesn't usually happen. Okay, I'm going to come out and in again. I apologize for the technical difficulties. Our wireless has been a little slow today. So what services are the E-Learning Enrichment Centers going to provide? I know this is of keen importance to you, and the safety protocols have been at the highest level of concern for us as well. Our E-Learning Enrichment Centers will have 1 to 8 teacher to student ratios for cohorts that are going to be grouped by grade level. The ideal grouping will be all kindergartners together, all first graders together, and so on. In some cases, to make a group of 8, we may need to mix, say, a K1 together, but we would never mix a kindergartner with a third grader because their learning support needs are very, very vastly different. During the e-learning enrichment time, we will provide instructional and technology support. As I was saying, it looks like the school day is going to look much different this fall than it did in the spring in terms of the components of the learning. I don't know if you are aware that the Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools has invested in the Canvas platform, which I think is the same platform that you use at Wake Forest University. The students will have a dashboard and a Canvas login where they should be able to access all of the different assignments and classes that they will attend during the day. This should lessen some of the burden that was felt keenly during the springtime when children were trying to log into multiple sites to access different instructional materials. Our hope is that everything will be in one place and there will be less of a sort of hopping from site to site. Our team has been trained by the district in Canvas, our leadership team, and we are then training our e-learning support specialists on how to utilize the technology. There will also be enrichment and recreational opportunities. In just a few minutes, you're going to see a sample schedule that one of the schools has put out. And each school has a different schedule for their children and a different schedule that's set up by grade. But there will be times throughout the day when the children will be unplugged and able to access some different STEM enrichment and other indoor and outdoor recreational opportunities. We do utilize a curbside check-in system, and we began that during the very first day of our crisis care. Basically, the way that it works is you will pull up into your assigned location. Our staff member who is appropriately garbed in PPE will come out to your car. They will take the child's temperature and go through the enhanced safety screening questions that are that have been given to us by the CDC. That once that is completed, your child will be escorted into the building to their appropriate group, and no one enters the building except for our staff and the children, and all of those folks are screened every single day. So parents will not be coming in and out of the building when at drop-off time, nor at pickup time. We will have staff members out with a walkie-talkie, and they will be calling into the various groups inside for dismissal, and your child will be escorted back to your car. We also have an enhanced cleaning and sanitation protocol, which we've been working on also since March. As many of you know, the CDC guidelines have changed numerous times since that time period, and we are on a continuous update. As a matter of fact, our protocol guidebook right now is 63 pages long, including all the updates that have come throughout the summer. Ashley Long, who is our assistant director, could speak more to all the specificity of what goes into the day-to-day cleaning. But basically, we're on a 45-minute rotation. Every 45 minutes, our children will stop their activity, wash hands. Anytime they move from one space to another, they will wash hands. We have employed in all our summer camps and crisis care locations what we call an infection control person who basically spends their entire day wiping down surfaces if groups move, making sure all materials are clean, touching up bathrooms, doorknobs, all those kinds of things, so that we know that we are operating in the cleanest facility possible. So as you see on this slide, we do have the curbside drop-off and pickup. We have strict hand washing protocols. We also have been working during crisis care and throughout the summer with our spacing. So the way that we operate is each child, based on CDC guidelines for educational spaces, needs a 5x5 space. So what we plan to do in all of our e-learning enrichment sites is we will socially distance the children in their own desk with their materials, and they will be 6 feet away from the next closest person. Our staff members are always masked. Our children will be masked when they move from activity to activity, or when they go to a space where they may eat lunch, or when they move to an enrichment activity. But when they are sitting at the computer interacting with their teacher for the synchronous learning, we will allow them to remove the mask so that they can have that one-on-one interaction with their teacher. Another safety protocol that we have put into place, we will no longer have sort of bins of shared supplies like markers and crayons and pencils and things like that. We're asking that each student will have their own supply kit, which will be filled with just the rudimentary student supplies: paper, pens, crayons, markers, scissors, and the like. Wi-Fi access is provided, but we ask that the children bring their own computers and earbuds, because with the live streaming that we'll be doing in the synchronous instruction, each person in the group will probably be completing a separate lesson. So it will be very, very important for everyone to have their earbuds. A question that comes up: what if there is a positive COVID test? How does that impact the learning group? How does that impact the site as a whole? We have worked very, very closely with Jonathan Swift and Jennifer Corso at the Forsyth County Department of Health, and the protocols are in place. What happens in the small cohort, since we are working with a group of 1 to 8, if someone in the 1 to 8 cohort tests positive for COVID, then all 8 of the students would be quarantined for the 14-day period. You would be contacted by Imprints Cares staff and also by the health department staff. That would be done telephonically. If your child is in a group that is not in the same cohort, then what the health department has recommended to us and what we have implemented throughout crisis care and summer camp is that you will be notified that there has been a positive test within the site, but that your child has had limited or no contact with that person. And in that case, we did have one positive COVID test during summer camp. It was at our Union Cross location in Kernersville. It was during the first week of camp. So we did identify that cohort. And in that case, there were 9 students. And they all quarantined for the 14-day period. And then 8 of the 9 students returned for the rest of the summer camp. The rest of the summer camp continued because they had not had that contact, and they continued on throughout the camp, and we did not have any community spread. Because children are screened every morning when they come in, we will know if there's a difference in temperature or any new symptoms. And if that's the case, we are depending upon you as the parents not to bring them to school that day or to the Enrichment Learning Center that day. But if a child becomes ill during the day, we have identified an isolation space where we will bring the child and we will contact you so that you can come and pick up the child and take he or she home, and if testing is appropriate, that can take place. Again, we are very, very reliant on the health department and also the school health alliance. They visit our sites to make sure that our protocols and policies make sense, that they're being enacted in the way that they should be. They give us feedback, and they've been extremely helpful in helping us plan for how to meet any eventuality that might occur. I apologize for this. I don't know why we're having such difficulty with getting the page to go. All right. I'm going to stop share again. I apologize. All right. What you are seeing now is a remote learning schedule from Jefferson Elementary. I know some of the folks that had submitted an interest form have children at Jefferson. We've been pulling the various learning schedules from the schools as they post them. Currently, Spies and Sherwood, where a number of other students of Wake Forest faculty attend, have not yet posted their remote learning schedule. But as I said, every school is posting a slightly different remote learning schedule. So this is the K through 2 schedule for Jefferson students. You can see in blue, those are the times that children are going to be in synchronous or live instruction. In yellow, there may be some small group instruction that is live, or it may be that the children will be working in their small groups to complete assignments that have been given during the synchronous instruction. And that would be a time where our teachers or facilitators that are in the group will be working one-on-one to ensure that they are on task, that they are familiar with what their teacher has asked them to do. And I think it's important to note that Imprints Cares has signed a partnership agreement with the Wake Forest Forsyth County Schools to help staff these e-learning opportunities. And what that means is they gave us access to Canvas training. It also means that they're going to be providing us with instruction manuals for the various grades and texts and types of assignments that students will have. So we will have some additional resources at our centers that can support children if they are struggling to master a concept or if they have a question and we can't access their teacher. This also allows us to be a part of their data sharing process. It's a program called Performance Matters. And if you join one of our e-learning enrichment centers, you will sign a release that allows us to communicate back and forth with the school teachers that will be responsible for your children, and also with the school district with various testing information if that should come through. So it's a really good connector between the programming that your children will be receiving remotely with our support and heading back to school. So our e-learning enrichment centers, just to sum it back up, 1:8 teacher to student ratio, socially distanced learning environment, STEAM enrichment activities, healthy snacks, and recreational opportunities. We're also talking with the school district, and it looks like as part of that partnership, they will be delivering lunch for children who would like to participate in that. And it's also possible that they will deliver breakfast as well. We have 2 options for care. One is wraparound care, and it's from 6:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. It's $215 a week. Or if you pay the tuition in full upon registration, you get a $100 discount, and it's $2,050 for that 10-week period, which is from August 17th to October the 23rd. They are saying 9 weeks, but it is the full quarter, and the full quarter's instruction ends on October 22nd, and October 23rd is scheduled as a teacher workday, but we will be providing care. We have also learned when the option C plan was first presented and voted on, it appeared that children would be receiving remote instruction on Monday through Friday, the elementary children for sure. But what we have learned in the last several days is that most of the schedules have been created such that the remote instruction will take place from Monday through Thursday. Friday will be a flexible day with catch up on any materials that haven't been completed for the week. And it will also be a day where there are more enrichment activities for the children to participate in, since they may not have the same level of expectation for their school day responsibilities. Our second option is school day care. It's from 8 a.m. till 3 p.m. every day. It's $180 if paid weekly. If it's paid in full at registration, it's $1,725, which is a $75 discount. You can see the disclaimer at the bottom. Because we have been working so closely with health department officials, the CDC, and with the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services. They very much recommend that we keep our cohorts together for the entirety of the quarter so that we minimize exposure risks. So once your child enters a pod of 8, he or she will stay in that cohort throughout the time with the same teachers that will be engaged with them. We're not going to be rotating around. I mean, obviously they will have opportunities to rotate to do different activities, but we do keep those pods together. And if there is a situation where 2 pods might be doing an enrichment activity together, then they would be masked and socially distanced. Our last slide, just some lessons that we've learned from doing this for the last 20 weeks during this public health crisis. We surveyed the parents who enrolled their children in crisis care. They felt that they were extremely well taken care of and that they were particularly pleased with the social and emotional interactions that they were able to have with our staff and with their peers. And you can see that 90% of our respondents rated the quality of our care as excellent. We really stepped up the communication between our staff and parents. And one of the things that we have added is sort of a weekly progress report. So you would be receiving via email or via paper. We've yet to completely determine that. Sort of a weekly update about how things went, what assignments, excuse me, what assignments might have caused your children some concern, what things went well, just general observations about how the week went. The other thing that we learned is the low teacher to student ratios are absolutely essential. During crisis care, we were down at the 1 to 5 level. That's just cost prohibitive, but we, particularly with the older kids, it was easier for us to grow the ratio just a little bit, but we've absolutely capped it at 1 to 8. And that again is to minimize exposure risk and to maximize the amount of time that your child will receive, sort of the attention that your child will receive from the e-learning specialist that's assigned to shepherd your group. And finally, the communication and the partnership with the school district is essential. We are operating not under their umbrella, but right beside their umbrella. They know and trust us and have given us their seal of approval. I know that there are lots and lots of options out there that are providing some care for children during this remote learning time. Some of them have never done it before and don't have those relationships. So we're really proud that we continue to share that relationship with the Winston-Salem Forsyth County School District, because we think that that will help us offer the best support for your children during this time of remote instruction. With that, I'm going to stop my share, and I see some questions have come up in the chat, and I'm just going to go down and try to answer as many questions as I can. This program is for K through 6th graders. We initially began thinking about just serving K through 5th graders because that has been sort of our wheelhouse. We do have 2 middle schools that we serve during the school year, but we got a lot of requests from parents who felt like those 6th graders who had not yet had a middle school experience really needed that additional support, and they're young. So our programs are geared towards K through 6th graders. Okay, next question. Is it possible to do 3 days per week? Unfortunately, we cannot offer that option just because of trying to maintain our cohorts and minimize the risk. Let's see. There is a discount for more than 1 child. It's $10 off for each additional child. Yes, Spanish immersion. We have a very large before and after school program at Spies Elementary. We do plan to have native speakers on staff to help with the Spanish immersion program. As a matter of fact, one of the women who will be supervising the Wake Forest program if we join together, Mita Lam, is from Ecuador, and she's been working with our expanded learning and our early childhood programs for about the last 15 years. And she is also Hegarty trained, which is the early literacy program that the Winston-Salem Forsyth County schools are going to be utilizing with K-1-2. So she'll be supervising some of that training as well. Next, where is the location? We have a number of locations that are off-site. Currently, right now, Wake Forest is investigating if it will be possible for us to utilize the old Winston-Salem First School campus. We toured that today, and we're working to see if that will work. When will we decide if there's a Wake Forest option? That really is dependent upon demand. We need at least 50 students to make it work financially. So if there is the demand and the interest from the Wake Forest community, then we want to do everything we can to make it possible to have a site near the Renolda campus. And it is $10 off for each additional child. And let's see if we have any other questions. Yes, the question is, are there any programs for preschool age children? Unfortunately, due to guidelines, we are unable to care for children who are less than school age. Those type of care situations fall under North Carolina state licensure guidelines, and we are not a licensed child care center because of the way that we provide services. If I've missed any other questions. If your child attends a charter school, certainly we can provide this support. They will still, I'm assuming, be logging in virtually or remotely. So that would definitely be an option. You don't have to be enrolled in Winston-Salem Forsyth County schools to participate in this program. If you are in a charter school or in another district that's doing remote learning that would require 5-day-a-week support, we're available. Okay. Let's see. Oh, I'm seeing a lot of comments about people not showing their faces. I would like to not show my face today after all the meetings that we have had. Let's see. I'm trying to see if there are any other questions. With siblings, what would happen if there was a positive case? Would then both groups of 8 quarantine? That's an excellent question, and one that I need to consult with the health department to have a definitive answer, because basically they make their decisions based on positive tests. But typically, if someone within a family has a positive test, there's a presumed positive. But I will get back to you. This question is from Jessica. I will get back to you on that answer because I'm not 100% sure. And I do want to double check with Jonathan Swift and Jennifer Corso as to how they would want to handle that. Location, again, we're continuing to investigate. Okay, if we register, can we register for Wake Forest as preferred, but also an alternative location if it doesn't come together? What we hope to do is have you register as a Wake Forest cohort, and then we would place everyone together. I think we will know by early next week whether or not there's going to be a Wake Forest location, and if there's not, we would let you know, and you would certainly be able to enroll in our other sites. Some of the other sites that we have that have come online, New Philadelphia Moravian Church is a site. Imprints Cares downtown, we're at 502 North Broad Street. We're going to have a site here at our location. It's the Augsburg Community Center. There's going to be a site at First Baptist Church in Clemens. There's going to be a site in Kernersville. It's Edgewood Baptist Church. And we expect to announce 2 additional sites on Sunday. We have to sign contracts, so I can't say, but they are also Winston-Salem based locations as well. But what we would prefer to do is to have this Wake Forest Renolda campus dedicated site that again provides another enhanced level of minimizing exposure. And so hopefully at the conclusion of this meeting, I believe that Beth and her team are going to share an interest form in which you would say if you would be interested in enrolling. Those who are interested in enrolling, we will follow up with very quickly as soon as we know that the site is available, and then we could begin the registration process early next week, because we know that time is very short with school about to begin in a week and just a couple of days. Let's see, looking for any other questions. Okay. Are you confident that, hold on, just, the cost for one child, if you do full day, is $215 a week, or $2,050 for the entire 10-week quarter. If you do the 8 to 3 school care option, it's $180 per week, or $1,725 if you pay in full. Is there a chance the Wake location could be open to other people who attend SPEES? That would be a conversation that we would need to have with the Wake Forest team to answer that. So I can't answer with 100% certainty. Are we confident in the ability? Yes, we met with the Wake Forest building team over at Winston-Salem First today. AT&T has wired the building, and they are in communication with making sure there's the proper amount of bandwidth for the type of streaming that would be occurring. So yes, I feel confident about that. What kind of enrichment will happen? We've gotten incredibly creative. We use a lot of noodles and hula hoops, but throughout our summer care experience, the way that the day has been scheduled, the first half of the day was academics, because we did have the bulk of our staff were teachers from the Winston-Salem Forsyth County schools. So from 9 to 12, the children rotated around in various academic blocks. And then the afternoon, they go to their various enrichment activities. We have a million games, arts and crafts activities that we can rotate children around, maintain that social distance, and still have fun. Like I said, hula hoops have been our friend because they provide sort of a social distancing space. Also the noodles, kids know to maintain their space differences. And when we are in the enrichment activities, that is the time when the children are masked, because they would be interacting with no more than one other pod group, because we, again, maintain the pretty strict limits about how many people come in contact with each other. Okay, I'm seeing. It says SPEES or other schools. Yeah, I mean, we're going to accommodate children from a variety of different schools. From the surveys that were completed by 177 of you back last week, we see, you know, that there are a variety of school locations that your children attend. Again, the kids will be grouped in age grade cohorts, but there may be someone from Jefferson, someone from Sherwood, and someone from SPEES, all third graders that are in the same group, unless it's possible for us to group by school. And that may be possible just depending on who registers. Obviously we don't exactly know how it will go until we see who we have to group together. Are there plans to serve 7th and 8th graders? Not currently. Just because of staffing. We want to maintain the high quality of the staff that we utilize in these positions. Imprints Cares pays a living wage to our community staff members. And so our pool of eligible employees is broad, but we also don't want to dilute our quality. And so right now we're planning to just focus on that K through 6th age group. And then as time progresses, if something occurs and the time for remote instruction continues past this first quarter, then we will reevaluate, because we understand that 7th and 8th graders do require a lot of supervision, but we wanted to start in a way that we knew that we could really respond well to the needs of the students that we have been working with on a daily basis for the last 12 years. I'm just scanning back up to see if I've missed any other questions. Again, you know, the preference would be, if we are able to offer a Wake Forest site, we will register you all in one cohort. It will be through a Google document, which will then give you links to our registration site. We use a program called Easy Care that will just walk you through step by step, and you would be reserving the Wake Forest site only. That's about all I see, but I do want to go back to the enrichment. We have a really, really strong team. We have an enrichment coordinator who does nothing but create games, activities, clubs for our children to participate in when they were in before and after school care. We have fun Fridays with all kind of STEM activities. We also have fun games like Family Feud, scavenger hunts, bingo, things that the children enjoy doing during enrichment. We have each week of summer camp is a themed week. So we have collected over the last multiple years, probably 25 different themed weeks, where we have lots and lots of enrichment activities that can support a theme. We may organize our sites around themes so that the enrichment activities for a week would all come together. We plan to outfit each of the classrooms, for lack of a better term, for the cohorts with libraries, so that when children have some free time when they're not on synchronous instruction and maybe they're encouraged to do some individualized reading, that will be an option. Let's see. Yes, so do not go ahead and register, even though registration is going live tomorrow, because we hope to have all the details in place for a Wake Forest site by early next week. Yeah, the link to register for the Wake Forest site, assuming that we have a Wake Forest site, will be coming early next week. So yes, hold off on that registration on the community site, which, as I said, will go live tomorrow at noon. Are there any other questions that I have missed? If anyone wants to add anything? If not, thank you so much for participating in the call. We have, okay, I'm seeing one more question. Is there any risk we won't get registered if Wake Forest doesn't go forward and others are booked? We have a number of locations available. Tomorrow will be the first day that we see what the registration looks like, so I can't say with certainty how quickly sites are going to fill. I can say that we do expect to announce a couple of additional sites later in the weekend, which would be made available. I really feel like, you know, I'm very hopeful that we'll have enough interest from the Wake Forest community that we'll be able to establish a wonderful site. There is no doubt that, you know, having the proximity to the campus would be convenient to you, and I'm hopeful that we can make that happen. The link for the interest form will be coming after this from Beth Fay and her team. They have access to it now, and they will be sending that form out. Once you complete it, it will come back to us. That will enable us to gauge the interest and the demand for the site. And as I said, once we get to a level of interest, then we will be able to move forward to confirm the adjacent to Renolda campus site, and move forward with registration early next week. So that interest link form will be coming shortly. Well, thank you again so much for taking the time to come and listen to this brief Dog and Pony show. Again, I apologize that Ashley wasn't able to join us. She's still in that terrible traffic accident traffic. This was recorded and it will go on our YouTube. I will post it on our YouTube channel in case you missed something, want to go back and look at a question, want to share it with someone. I will also share that link with Beth and her team so that you can have access to that. When would we hear if it is not going forward? I think we'll have all information about how things are going to move, as I said, again, by early next week, because we know that time is of the essence and that you need to have plans in place for your children when school starts back up on August 17th. The last thing I will say is we have heard from the school district that the first several days of instruction will be really focused upon Canvas orientation. Because this is going to be a steep learning curve for the children because they have not utilized a platform like this before, and particularly with our younger children, it will provide require a lot of additional supports from our staff, which we're going to be really paying attention to. So that first week is going to be, I think, pretty critical to making sure that the children are successful in utilizing the platform in all the ways that it possibly can. Again, thank you so much for your time. If you have any additional questions that you would like to send me, my email address is shek@imprintscares.org, and I will also type that in the chat box so that you will have it. And we look forward to being in touch with you soon with further information. Thank you so much. Yes, Adam. Did you have a question, Adam? I saw something starting to come through.
Oh, no, I was just applauding, saying thank you. Sorry for any confusion, but I was going